start with showmanship, I'm assuming?
You want showmanship first or last?
Do the what?
I'd rather have it first.
You'd rather have it first? Okay. Have showmanship last. You want it first? You have pin and 3 kind of getting right.
Oh, pin and 3, we can do that first, but then I would personally follow showmanship. That way their pigs aren't tired.
start our show today. The first class, Pennant 3 Market Pigs. Please bring your pigs to the ring. We have Haley Hughes, Grace Neitzer, and Julia Neitzer.
We got something for the judge to fill out so she can see what do you call that, resume?
Oh,
We usually had something up here, so you know who the judge is,
okay.
where he's from, what he does.
All right. I have where he's from. Washington, Nebraska, right?
Out of Nebraska, right? What else do we need to know?
You know, I don't know where he went to college at. That's up to you guys. You can tell your name, whatever.
That's all I got.
He's from West Point. You got a bunch of papers.
Yep. Why don't you just write on the back of this?
Yeah, there you go.
Does that work okay? Our judge this morning is Hunter Schroeder out of West Point, Nebraska. Oh, perfect. Give it to me. Oh.
She is very sweet. First she goes, Mom, your outfit's a little revealing. I thought of this outfit and the whole back of it's open. I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
It's all hot. Oh, I love it. The little part. Hi, Hi. Oh, she's adorable. I better give you my paper back.
You won't.
Can you reach for something? He has very with all of the announcements on the back. Here, go grab it out of his pocket. Oh. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. As we get started this morning, we would like to thank our swine superintendents, Rod Greiner and Jared Mayberry. Our ring help this morning, also a big thank you to Farm Bureau for the breakfast that was prior to the show. Helping with passing out ribbons this morning is our Fair Queen and Fair Royalty, Maggie Bagby and Ann Barrett.
Hawaiian shirt. That is AJ Hughes. Okay. And then Nathan Vinton is not in there, but the Warren. I don't know his first name, but the Warren brothers are there. Oh, okay. Which Warren brother is that? I really don't. Nine. There's three exhibitors in this class. Oh, great. How are you?
Good. I had so much fun last night. I was not expecting to do that.
Well, good morning. It's certainly a privilege to be over here in Iowa judging a hog show. We're going to go ahead and use the spin of three right here in the ring to go ahead and win this particular class. I think there's just the most quality in terms of all three individuals. They're pretty uniform in terms of muscle and size, and I think they've got the, like I said, I think they got the advantage in terms of quality from a 1, 2, 3 perspective, but I think that's a really nice place to start. I think it gets a lot closer between the next two as you got the barrows, the group of barrows there. I think they're really uniform in their type and kind. They're really close in weight, but I think maybe we're lacking a little bit of our muscle shape in one of them in particular. And you got over here, you got a pair of really nice gilts with a barrel that's probably a little bit too far gone in terms of his condition. I'm going to go ahead and use the barrows that as second. I think they're just a little bit more uniform in their type and kind. I think we're I think as you can see as they come out here, I think they just match better, and I think that's what we're trying to do in a pin of 3. A really nice set there to go ahead and be second. That takes nothing away from the set there in third. Like we said, I just think we'd like to clean up that barrel a little bit in terms of his lower 1/3, give that one a little bit more shape to go with the 2 gilts. They got plenty of shape, and I think you'd have a really good pin of 3 there, but still going to be in the purple ribbon category. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Our class winner is Grace Meister. Second place, Julian Meister. Oh, purple.
Thank you.
Class 2 of the Market Tank Pin of 3. First to enter the ring is Logan Hughes.
Question. For your grand drive of pin of 3, is it just the 2 winners of each class, or do you bring back second place in
We
each
will
class?
bring back second
Okay.
place.
I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Good deal. How are you?
Great. I fell asleep at 8 o'clock last night.
I got to ride in the freaking trucks.
How was that?
So much fun.
I
was
bet. That would have been fun.
covered in mud.
I bet.
Next to enter the ring is Maximilian Parker.
Oh my god. I gotta be here. Fun times.
It stopped after 7th grade. really got to do any big live stock events, so I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to do them, you know? Yes, they're all mad. You all mad you can't do it.
I was like, this is an experience to run off and your dad's like, oh,
In this particular class, we're going to go ahead and use the 2 young men over there to go ahead and win this particular class. I think those barrels just hold hold together better in terms of muscle shape and overall uniformity. Both pins got a barrel that's a little bit softer in their condition, but I think the two other barrels in the young men's pin offer a lot more shape in terms of up high and their flexibility when you get out and go. These two individuals in the ring here, the gilts are just a little bit far off in terms of their how close together they are in terms of weight and size. The York gilt's obviously a high-performing type of a gilt, but the cross gilt is a little bit farther behind than what we'd like to see as a uniformity group of pin of three. Still a really nice gilt. They're going to stay in the purple ribbon category. Let's give both of them a round of applause.
Last winner
Thank you.
is Logan Hughes. The purple and
Red is when it's going, the volume's off. Is there a background? Your battery going dead on it? What's red? It was looking green. It still works, but
back in the ring
I don't want you to.
for the championship pin of three will be Grace Neitzer and Logan Hughes.
Second place from that class to go until it dies.
Our sponsors for the champion pin of three Swine is Tim and R Farms. Reserve pin of three Swine is Heartland Co-op.
Oh, it's just one battery. That's even better. Wait, is that yeah? That's the right way. Ah, girl. Good deal. Thank you. I know, this is like that. There's like a mute button. When that was in the ribbon. Okay. Did you not have your dog?
Let's go ahead and give our pin of three exhibitors a round of applause. I think it gets pretty close when you start to get both class winners out here. Like we talked about with the bigger class here, that barrel, I'd like to clean that third barrel up just a nickel to make him look a lot more uniform comparatively to the other two barrels. I think when you start to talk about uniformity, I think this pin has the advantage, but they're not quite as big as these other pigs. But to me, when you're in a pin of three, you want to get those things as close to matching as you possibly can. I think the young ladies' pins has the advantage. They're going to go ahead and be your champion pin of three.
Champion pin of three winner is Grace Neitzer. Julia Neitzer, please bring your head to the ring for the reserve pin of three.
dropped the second place from that particular class in, and I think they don't take away from the quality. I just think the young men over here are going to go ahead and be reserved. They've got the two better barrels in that particular drive. Like we said, they just wanted to clean that barrel up a little bit to get them to champion, but reserve champion will work.
The reserve pedigree champion is Logan Hughes. With the sponsors of the Champion Pedigree Awards, M&R Farms, please go over to the sign for your picture. Also a representative for the reserve pedigree from Heartland Co-op.
How you doing this morning, buddy? Good, good. Have you called the first class market guilds?
First class of the breeding guilds. Please get ready to enter the ring following the photos. In that class of breeding guilds is Alexandra, Haley Hughes, and Jamie Vinton. Alexandra Newhoffen, Haley Hughes, and Jamie Vinton.
2 purples and a blue.
Okay, we need.
Let's give our first class of breeding gilts a round of applause. I'll be the first to admit neither one of these 3 gilts necessarily trips my trigger. I think there's things you need to change about all these ones from a hind leg perspective. But I think if you're going to take your chance and go put one in a crate, the young lady's gilt over here is going to go ahead and win this class just in terms of having some extra look and some presence of for the way she ties her neck into the top side of her shoulder. She gives you that great look from the side, something that you can build around. There's plenty of boars out there that are plenty stout. We can put the stoutness in the body in that one in a hurry. As we talked about, like when she gets going and gets going from behind, when she starts getting going with that motor, she wants to take that right hock outside her skeleton, which is concerning for, she's not overly blown apart, and she wants to take that hock out still. But like I said, I think that she's the best place to go in terms of having that extra look and something we can build around. Second's going to go ahead and be the young lady right here with the more white on that particular gilt. That's a gilt that I love in terms of her rib shape and her extra body, and you have to love that one's mass, but it comes with its consequences. I think that one from her hock down, it needs to be fixed quite substantially. She wants to take both of her hocks outside of her skeleton, and then you study that one in the front side of her skeleton. We want to pick that one up in the front side of her blade and make her head and neck tie in higher at the top side of her blade to get her any higher in the class. Probably more of a market gilt for me. And the gilt that rounds out the class, we need to see more of that one, kind of everywhere. She kind of tapers off down to the surface in terms of her foot and bone work and her overall muscle up high. We got to mask that one up a little bit to get her any higher.
Our first place class winner for the breeding gilts is Jamie Vinton with a purple. Second place with a purple is Haley Hughes and Allie Coughlin with a blue. Will the second class of breeding gilts enter the ring? In this class, we have Jaden Wildenbush, Grace Neisser, Tyler Prokop with 2 pigs. On deck is the class 3 of breeding gilts, Megan Hughes, Colton Burgoyne, Maximus Parker, and Alyssa Montgomery. Please start getting your pigs ready. Alicia Montgomery.
Swine thing.
Let's give this next class a round of applause. I guess for me it really boils down to a pair of gilts and the 2 blue butt gilts, and I think they've got their differences. For me, I think the one that ties her neck in neater about the top side of her shoulder, she gives you that really cool look from the side. Young man's gilt over here along the side of the gates over there is going to go ahead and win this class. I just love that one in terms of her look from the side and that overall sow belly in her. She got a great underline. Yeah, we need to stouten that one up in terms of her feature and make her bigger footed maybe at the surface comparatively to her contemporary that's going to go second. But I just think that one has got a bright future. I'd take her home today if it was allowed. The gilt that comes in second undoubtedly has the feature advantage. She's bigger footed, she's bigger boned. Those are things that are hard to do, but at the same time, she gets crestier about her head and neck. She's a little bit more open about that shoulder and that front end, and when she comes directly at you, she wants to walk on the outside of that left of her right front toe there. So still a really nice gilt. She just runs into one that I think is harder to knock a genuine hole in, but a really nice gilt to go ahead and be second. The young lady over here on the far end is going to go ahead and be third. A really nice gilt in her own right. She just runs into two pretty nice gilts. We need to open that one up in terms of her forerib. We need to set her shoulder in higher, and we need to stouten that one up in terms of her bone work and her foot as she goes down to the surface. Round out the class with a gilt. I think he's got a bright future ahead of her. She just runs out of gas, and comparatively to the other three ahead of her, we got to stouten that one up, mass that one up high to make her move any higher in the class for me. But a really nice set of gilts.
What are the ribbons on that? 3 purple, 1 blue.
Class
I'll go
winner of
find
that
Tyler.
class is Tyler Prokop. First and second place is Tyler Prokop in that class. Third place with a purple is Grace Neitzer. Fourth place with a blue is Jaden Goldenbush. Entering the ring is class 3 of the breeding guilds. We have Megan Hughes, Colton Burgoyne, Maximus Parker, and Alyssa Montgomery.
Alicia. Tell her I'm so sorry.
Alicia. Okay.
Thank you. Poor girl.
Alicia.
I'll ask him for ribbons when I get in the leg. Yeah, struggling. Alicia's pig is so cute. Okay, I'm going to get.
A special announcement, there's still some breakfast burritos available if anybody is hungry. See the Farm Bureau gang and they can hook you up.
I'm gonna ask him before I give him the mic this time, but I know it's kind of.
It's fine. I just don't know how to get back. I don't know where Jane is.
Nice set of gilts out here. I think it really boils down into pairs to me, but I think the gilt that I'd be most comfortable taking home is the young man's York gilt in the center of the ring. I think when that one masses up, and she's so large in her frame and so long body, which is a problem in the York deal, but you're more confident being able to get a York out of that one than you probably are in the out of a cross out of these next couple. I think that one just ties her neck in smooth. She's really level. She's sound. She can go. She's got a great underline. That one just, the bigger she gets, the better that one's going to get. I think you're going to like that one when she's in the sallier. I think she's going to be an absolute tank. The gilt that comes in second is young man's black cross gilt here. That doesn't take anything away from her. She's got the actual rib shape and body advantage, probably a little bit bigger hipped. But when you start to study this one, she just gets a little bit plain, and she, in her overall type and kind, one that we need to pick up in her front end ever so slightly. I'd like to see her flex her back past her and just a nickel more. It's hard to make a good crossbred, and I'm confident that York's going to make better babies than this one is in the cross world. It gets a little closer here for third and fourth, but the third's going to be the predominantly white gilt here. We just need to see that one softened up. To me, that's a market gilt. She's too extreme in her muscle kind. We need to open that one up in her rib rib cage to get her any higher. Then we round out the class with the duroc. We just got to be sounder off of both ends of our skeleton. We got to lay our shoulder in smoother about our front end and utilize our hawk with a little bit more authority to get her any higher in the class.
Our class winner is Maximus Parker. The second place going to Colton Burgoyne. Third place with a blue is Megan Hughes. And fourth place with a blue, Alicia Montgomery. Next up is our Next up will be the decision of the champion breeding guild and reserve.
Huh?
Live stream this on.
You could.
In the ring for the champion, we have Jamie Vinton,
Is my crown crooked?
Tyler Prokop,
Okay.
I gotta figure out how to live stream on Facebook.
and Maximus Parker.
And you could just set your phone up somewhere.
Get the second place ready.
Those with the second place in their class, please get your pigs ready.
I don't know how to do that.
I will get live video. Do I like talk or just?
No, you just hold it. Record basically. Just don't talk because they can hear you.
Second place class winners is Colton Burgoyne,
So come out to the picture.
Tyler Prokop, and Haley Hughes. You are on deck.
Let's give our breeding guild exhibitors a round of applause. Not a lot of numbers, but I think the quality is there. It's kind of the story with most breeding guild shows around at this particular time. They're starting to grow and they're starting to become more popular. The breeding show is actually my favorite show personally. It's what we do. We raise show pigs, and so you want to try to find those elite females that you can go and put in your own herd if you can. And I think it's fun to see what other people bring out into the breeding guild show.
is Kelsey Hughes with the purple. And fourth place with the blue is Haley Hughes. Our second class of lightweight market gilts are entering the ring. We have Maximus Parker, Jamie Benson, Luke Newhoffen, and Tyler Prokop. As a reminder, the auction is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Reminder to 4-Hers to have your auction animal paperwork turned in by today at 2 p.m.
Certainly a really nice class. Four gilts out here. I think that four high quality gilts. That's still going to be one of the services rather handily in the young man's gilt right here. I think that one's exceptionally good in what she brings to the table. That one's flashy. That one ties her neck in right. That one's got a big, bold top and her big hip. You know, we're going to get critical on that one. I need to see that one hit another gear, and she wants to just ever so slightly wants to rotate that left hock a little bit and step on the outside of her foot. So I'd like to change that one there. But that one just in terms of getting across the ring with look and presence and still being stout, you like that one a lot. Now, the gilt that comes in second is the young man against the rail there. If you're just going to simply wide these things out, she wins all day, every day. That one's got a monster back in her, big hip, but that one gets a little plain and drier through the center portion of her body. She's got a blown gland back there. We need to just freshen that one up in her overall makeup, make her hit another gear. She gets a little bow-legged on that right back leg, but that's a really nice place to go ahead and be second. Now, the young lady's gilt right here is going to go ahead and be third. That one hits you really good right out of the gate. She too's got a really big blown gland. When you start to study that one, she gets a little bit round out of her hip, maybe a little low in her tail set. I'd like to just see that one a little bit more opened up in her forerib to match her width from her hip. But that one I think is a nice place to go ahead and be third. And the young man's gilt that rounds out the class, doesn't take anything away from him. This one's got a great profile from the side. She's really neat about her head and neck. I think that one's best days are honestly ahead of him. She's got the most future of any gilt in this class, and I think if you keep hammering on that one, you're going to be okay. She just runs out of gas in this class to get any higher. Let's give him a round of applause.
Winner was Tyler Prokop. Second place, Luke Newhoffen. Third place, purple, Jamie
Let's give our two lightweight exhibitors here a round of applause. We're just talking very briefly here. The Gilt came out of that first class. I think she just put the most good together. That one's big featured, has a big back. She can get out and go a little bit. Like we talked about, we'd like to change her in her front 1/3 a little bit, maybe give her a little bit more forward as you work her way back. And the Gilt that comes out of that second class, like we talked about, I think in that drive, she did things rather handily. We're getting really picky on that back foot. But at the same time, you shouldn't let one thing beat a good one. That one's a good one, young man. You have your champion lightweight Gilt.
Our champion lightweight market Gilt is Tyler Prokop. Our sponsor for the champion lightweight market Gilt is Harry and Sharon McClary.
You bring that Gilt out that was second in that class, and she definitely doesn't deter from the quality. I think the decision for reserve is much, much closer. There's a lot of things you like about that Gilt that comes out as second. Like we said, that one's the stoutest one we've seen all day. That is a huge back, big hip. But I'd like to change that one. Like we said, she gets a little dry. She's not as fresh today. She gets a little bit bow-legged. So I think that becomes real close between these two. I like fresh hogs, young lady. You're going to go ahead and be reserving this.
Our reserve champion lightweight market Gilt is Allie York. Next up, entering the ring is our first class of heavyweight market Gilt.
Do you want to run that mic for a while so I can hear you?
We have
Ladies blue gilt, she puts a lot of good things together in terms of mass and volume, and still having some functionality when you get out and go. Quite honestly, would have had a good day in the breeding gilt show as well. I like that one quite a bit from a fundamental standpoint. I think maybe this one's maybe getting a tick bit old. She wants to start to bring her chine up just ever so slightly right there between her blades there, but I think that one's a really, really nice place to start. Young lady's black gilt's going to go ahead and be second, and she does so just in terms of having the extra bulk and some mass. That's a bigger hip gilt that has a little bit more product in her. She's too straight in the angle of her blade. We need to set that blade back in her skeleton ever so slightly. I'd like to stouten that one up in terms of her feature and her foot size at the ground, but a nice place to go ahead and be second. The gilt that comes in third, I'm not sure if this is the gilt that was out of the breeding show or not. She looks just like her, and honestly, if she's not, she should have been in the breeding show, because I think this one, that's where that one needs to be. She's extremely level and good in her skeleton, and she can get out and move all day, but just from a terms of mass and overall power, that one just runs out of gas in terms of this particular dry, but still an excellent female. I just think she should be a breeding gilt. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
All purples or two? All purple.
Our class winner for the first class of heavyweight market gilts is Lydia Foods with a purple. Second place with a purple, Alicia Montgomery. Third place with a purple, Lillian Parker. Entering the ring is class 2 of our heavyweight market gilts. We have Kelsey Hughes, Colton Burgoyne, and Ashlyn Montgomery.
As we get in here to our bigger gilt here, as we get out here, I think it gets really. Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? All right, there we go. I think in this class it gets a little, maybe one of our closer pairs of the day between the black gilt and the young man's gilt here, and I think they both have their issues in terms of skeleton. Maybe one's a little bit straighter in their blade. One I'd like to redesign in terms of her hip and hind leg. But I think when you put them in terms of putting the most good together, the young man right there, he's going to go ahead and have your class champion. Like we said, we would like to change this one in a couple places, but I think just in terms of being just a solid, good market gilt, I think she hits a lot of what we're trying to do. Like we've talked about her problems. I think she gets a little bit more open about her shoulder as well. But I think just a nice place to start. The young lady's gilt that's going to go ahead and be second here. I like that one in terms of how level she is. She's fresh in terms of her back shape. One that I just like to open up in terms of both ends of her skeleton coming and going. I like to open her up in her forerib ever so slightly. And like we alluded to, I'd like to set her back in the angle of that blade. And I think that one wins the class rather handily. We round out the class with the young ladies gilt, who maybe 2 weeks ago I think was where she needed to be. Right now we just lost our shape, or just a little bit too soft and past our prime in terms of our condition and our finish. I'd like to stouten that one up in terms of her feature and her bone size. But a really nice gilt to go ahead for the young lady to have as a project. Let's give him a round of applause.
Is Colton Burgoyne. Second place with a purple, Ashlyn Montgomery. Third place with a blue, Kelsey Hughes. In the ring now will be our overall heavyweight market gilt. We have Tyler Prokop, Lydia Booth, and Colton Burgoyne. I am so sorry, not Tyler. We just have Lydia Booth and Colton Burgoyne.
Let's give our heavyweight gilt exhibitors a round of applause. It's been a nice gilt show, small, but I think there's been good quality. Much like the last division, I think there's one that just needs to win this division, just in terms of having the extra look and the mass and the bulk, and that's the young lady's blue gilt. I think she wins this division rather handily.
Our champion heavyweight market gilt is Lydia Booth. Our sponsor for the champion heavyweight market gilt is Lynn Cell Memorial. Entering the ring now is Alicia Montgomery and Colton Burgoyne.
We dropped that second place gilt in, and I think it makes it a really close pair. They're very similar in their type and kind. They've got similar problems. I think the one that just suits me second best in terms of having a little bit more shape and is a little bit ties her shoulder in a little bit better in terms of right behind her blade is the young man right here. He's going to go ahead and be second in this particular division.
Our reserve champion heavyweight market gilt is Colton Burgoyne. Our sponsor for the reserve champion heavyweight market gilt is the Keith Henderson family. Our sponsor representatives, if you are with us today, please have your picture taken at the Mills County Fair sign. Up next is our Class 1 lightweight market barrel. Logan Hughes, Julian Meitzer, water, popcorn, and ice cream on the north side of the arena. Also, the Tea Club is raising money for their Citizenship Washington focus trip. Help support the Tea Club and see your favorite community member kiss a pig, located at the north end of the arena.
As, as we start to roll right into our barrel show here, I think it really comes down to a pair of barrels, but even then I think it sorts himself to the top. Young man's hand barrel in the center of the ring is going to go ahead and win this class. I just really like that guy in terms of his overall bulk, his mass. That one's square, coming and going. I'd like to see him maybe a little less full. He wants to take that hawk outside of him ever so slightly, but one that just offers a lot of look and presence from the side. He's 12 o'clock. He's done where he's going to be. That barrel can't go any longer. He's just so modern in his frame size, but he holds it together really good at whatever weight he's weighing right now. That's a good place to start. I don't think the second is any difficulty. Young lady's white barrel here is going to go ahead and be second. This barrel just really the main difference here. This one's a little bit bigger in his frame. He's longer bodied, and you like those things about him. But when you come directly at me, he wants to close up in his chest floor. He walks on the outside of his feet, and I'd like to open him up right there in terms of his ham-loin junction. But I think that one, 30 days from now, is going to smoke the other barrel. We just need to keep that one on feed. We're judging him today. So today he's going to sit second. The barrel that's going to go ahead and be third is the black-headed barrel. One that I think if we can fix that one in terms of skin and hair, I think that one could maybe rival our second-place pig in terms of overall look. And that one's got a big hip, but at the same time, he maybe gets a little bit rounder right there with the lower tail setting. I'd like to set him back in the angle of his blade ever so slightly, but a nice pig to go ahead and be third. When we get down to here, fourth and fifth, I think you're splitting hairs. I think the genuinely better muscled hog is the young lady's barrel right here, along the rail. I think that one just offers you more muscle, more mass, and we've got to have that in our hogs. I like that one from a compositional standpoint, so I think that's a good project to go ahead and be fourth. Take nothing away from the young lady. He's doing a nice job showing them. This one just is a little bit too plain. He doesn't have any foot size and bone. We just want to stouten that one up kind of everywhere and make him a little bit more descriptive in his muscle pattern. But a nice job showing him. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
Our class winner is Logan Hughes. Second place in that class is Allie Newhoffen. Third place is Logan Hughes. Fourth place, Julia Neitzer.
But I wear micro shorts under them. I'm like,
I don't care about your clothes. I want to get
what?
this. I
I
don't.
Target.
I need
They're
spandex.
$7. For the Wild and Fabric brand, I love them.
Up next in our ring is the class 2 of the Market Barrel Lightweight. We have Luke Newhoffen, Grace Neitzer, Ryan Stortenbecker, Maximus Parker,
I wear my oversized shirts with my spandex shorts.
and Ryan Stortenbecker with 2 pigs.
Tigers. I have an oversized, so our PE teachers, the junior class.
Let's give this barrel class a round of applause. Certainly a barrel class. You turned up the heat, and I think there's honestly all five good barrels in their own right. I think there's a trio of barrels that kind of sort their way to the top, and I think there's a lot of give and take between the three barrels. But the one that I personally keep coming back to in terms of look and having that big hip and that big square top right behind his blades, the young man right here with the Hamp barrel, he's going to go ahead and win this particular class. You love those things about him. Like we said, he's got a look. I'd like to give him another gear. Now, that hog is far from perfect. My big critical thing on that barrel is when he gets going, he wants to walk on the outside of his toes on his rear legs. When he's standing still, he wants to look a little bow-legged. But when that young man gets him going and gets him stuck the way he needs to, he's really hard to knock a hole in. I like that barrel quite a bit. The young man right here with the white barrel is going to go ahead and be second. This is a barrel that I'd love to have on feed personally. This barrel, I think his best days are down the road. That one is just extremely square with the shape that he has working. That one's really good in his forerib. Where we start to study and get a little critical is right here when we get in behind that hog. He wants to step outside with that left hock outside his skeleton. Got to bring that back in terms of his skeleton. But one, I think if you want to pick a barrel to feed on in this particular drive long term, that's him every day, all day. Just right now, today, I think that one doesn't have quite the extra mass, but that one's a good one going down the road. Young man right here is going to go ahead and be third in this class. Barrel that has a lot of good to him, has a good look from the side. He just runs out of feature and bone size and foot size comparatively to the two ahead of him. You start to study him, he gets a little drier about the center portion of his body in terms of his rib cage, but still a really nice barrel to go ahead and be third. Gets a lot closer here for fourth and fifth. The young man's barrel right here is going to go ahead and be fourth. Certainly a power hog, but he's too moderate in his frame size. He's borderline in terms of his finish. We just got to give that one a little bit more frame size to me to get him any higher in the class. That'll help keep his hocks inside of his skeleton. And then we round out the class with the young ladies barrel here. He just simply runs into a class that is really tough. It's a good fundamental market hog. It's got some things you like about him in terms of functionality in his skeleton. Just like to see him fresher in terms of his shape today. That was a good class of barrels.
Our class
It's
winner
not Montgomery
was
County.
Luke Newhoffen.
It's not Montgomery County.
Second place
He's not judge
was
Montgomery
Ryan
County. Is he?
Stortenbecker.
I don't think so. I don't
That
know.
one's a
Third
that one I would not want to judge
Ryan
Kent County. That
Stortenbecker.
one,
He's judged at like 3 different
Fourth
places, so I'm not
place with
sure.
the
I know he
blue,
said
Max
about judging at
Parker.
Page County.
Fifth
Yeah, he's
place
judged
with
at
the
Page.
blue,
He's judged at
Grace
Fremont.
Meitzer.
I bought some stuff from my drawer. I got the like plates.
Oh my god, I love
And
that
then I
one.
went to Hobby Lobby and got the tour. When they had their big sale. Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby when it's 50% off, like their pictures.
Entering the ring is class 3.
Honestly, that was
Okay,
bad.
most weight
That
market
day for me.
barrels.
That was bad.
We
I
have
gotta go to Apple because they have
Thank you,
some storage stuff I want.
James Vinton,
Target's.
Julia Meitzer, Braxton Pratt,
Like my dad's
and
a big
Megan
like
Hughes.
dark this year,
Right.
so stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like the white wanted carpet board.
It was just a box. And it was a single plate, a single plate, and a single box. And then all I can't show. And that was like bonus. And then she had on the team. Like I was on type. And they're like, and then the other girl.
I found a box of them.
Let's give this class of barrels a round of applause. I think a barrel that surfaces rather handily is young lady's hand barrel right here in the center of the ring here. I think that one's extremely good in terms of his overall rib cage and his center body cavity, big hip. He's uniform from his shoulders back. Maybe want to give that one a little bit more frame size. He too wants to walk on the outside of his foot ever so slightly on that left one on his back wheel. But I think a really nice place to start for the young lady. For second, I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady right here with the pink whip right here. Really nice, stylish hog from the side. We just need to freshen that one up through the lower 1/3 of his body. He gets a little bit wastier, and I'd like to stouten that one up in terms of his bone work and his footwork as we go down to the surface. But a nice, stylish project there to go ahead and be second. From there, I think you can do a lot of different things. For me, the one that fits me the next best is young man's red barrel in the corner of the ring there. I think that one has the advantage in terms of freshness and leanness, and that one can just get out and go in terms of his skeleton. You love that one for how big hipped he is. He's extremely long spined. You like that one about that one. He just needs to keep being fed. His best days are probably down the road, but I like that barrel a lot for that young man. And then we got two barrels here that I think get a lot closer for fourth and fifth in terms of freshness and shape and where they're at. Young lady over here is going to go ahead and be fourth. She just has the leanness advantage. I realize that barrel's not as big in his pin set. We'd like to stouten that one up there, but just in terms of that fresh shape, working right behind his blade all the way down either side of that spine, I think that one has a clear advantage. Then we round out the class right here with the young lady. This barrel just needs to hit another growth spurt and not get so wasty through that lower one portion of his body and through that jowl. Like to stouten that one up in his bone work to get him any higher in the class. Really nice class of barrels. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Our class winner was Jamie Vinton. Second was Megan Hughes with the purple. Third was Braxton Pratt with the blue. Fourth, Julia Neitzer with the blue. And fifth, Haley Hughes with the blue.
Thank you.
I was gonna say.
Look how sunburned she is. It like comes way down to here.
I thought I was sunburned and I wasn't. Fun fact, even though I sunburned.
That was fun. And then I come inside and I'm like,
Next up
making our
will be our
stance.
champion and reserve champion lightweight market barrels.
lot of good quality here in the lightweight division of barrels, and you think you got 3 good class runners. Just briefly to describe how I see those particular hogs. The young man that came out of that first class, I thought he did so just in terms of having that extra ring presence, and that hog can get out and go the way we need him to. In terms of a couple others out here, I think he gets a little bit frailer in terms of his feature. He doesn't have as big his foot going down to the surface relatively to for sure the heavyweight barrel in this particular drive, but one that I think still has a lot of good in terms of his front end. He ties his neck in high at the top side, barrel that certainly has a lot of good to him. The barrel that came out of that second class, he now is definitely not one to cooperate. We talked about him in class and how when that barrel does. When he decides he wants to be a show barrel, there's a lot of good things to like about that one. He has the freshness advantage in terms of the shape that he works down either side of his spine. You like to fix him right there in his ham-loin junction. He's got such a big hip that it almost doesn't tie together as well as you'd like it to. But when that one gets his head up, he's opened up. He's got a lot of good things about him. He maybe is a little bit drier in terms of the side comparatively to both barrels behind him, but one that certainly has a lot of feature and a lot of bone. You like those things about him. Young lady's barrel out here. This is what, I hate to use the term, but he just checks the boxes that you need. He doesn't wow you in any one area, but he's a good fundamental barrel that gets the job done. You just like to see that one a little bit more extended up front, maybe pick him up in his front end ever so slightly. And then you could, comparatively to the other two, maybe freshen him up in terms of his back shape. But I think a good trio of barrels. I think it gets really close between these 3. We're going to go ahead and take one more look at him. We'll get you a champion lightweight barrel.
They're friends. We should do it together.
How do you like judge that? Whoever does the best with falling a pig. I guess Alyssa and I are judging that.
I'm also down.
You're also doing that? I watch the pig falling contest on YouTube. Oh, they do. I used to watch that.
Are we not
Our
giving out awards for that?
champion lightweight market barrel goes to Luke
Entertainment.
Newhoffen.
That's what that is.
Our sponsor for the champion lightweight market barrel is the Jerry Wright Memorial.
Mine's like purple magenta-y. Honestly, I can always use another like.
Good job that second place barrel from that particular class, and he certainly doesn't make the decision any easier. We talked about in class that one offers a lot of look from the side, and you like that one in terms of how square he is. Maybe he gets a little drier through the center portion of his body. You'd like to bring that left hock inside his skeleton, but just in terms of being a hog that's athletic and has that extra look, you like that about him. I don't know what the young man's plans are with that barrel, but I think his best days are maybe 30 days down the road here. I think that's going to be a really good one to feed on here as we get closer. And it still comes down to the young man right here in that white barrel. I think that becomes an extremely close pair, like we talked about with those two barrels early on, and just like this barrel in class, that barrel just did a couple things better. And I think this pair is extremely close. But I think the one that suits me best in terms of having the extras, in terms of the extra range of motion and getting out and going, young man's white barrel is going to go ahead and be second. Congratulations.
I want to wear my twisted
sponsor
might
for
wear
the
a dress.
reserve
Well, they're in the-
champion lightweight market barrel is the Dolores Williams and family.
If I wear jeans or a dress tomorrow.
I'm wearing jeans.
I'm wearing like shorts. I have like fabric shorts that I'm gonna wear.
Tomorrow at 3 because I have to work at 3:30.
So
I literally could just walk in.
we get to wear sashes in the ring, correct?
As a reminder,
For auction.
racers, please thank your sponsors.
Get more money.
Get more money.
A written thank
Well,
you
plus
note goes a
those of
long
us who are
way.
graduating because they announced
Again,
it
the
for
reserve champion
seniors.
Yes, and I have
lightweight
to talk
market
to
barrel
Abby
sponsor
Sorensen. I
is
have to
Dolores
talk. I have to give
Williams
my
and
little
family.
speech I have to say at the auction.
You have to wait. What do you?
I have to speak about, the Clover and how the endowment fund that goes to the endowment fund is fund scholarships, because I was the youth representative on the endowment, and I got one of the scholarships. I wasn't at the meeting when they discussed
scholarship? I got one of the endowment scholarships too.
but I wasn't at the meeting when they discussed scholarships, so it wasn't I knew okay, this is who's judging it.
Yeah.
I knew who the people were because they're on the council.
Yeah.
Heavyweight
I mean, I feel like even if you weren't one of the ladies.
Yeah, I mean, 4-H was Nicole. It was Nicole Walter and Melissa
Jamie
Smith.
Vincent.
Melissa. Okay, I didn't know if it was
Nicole is
Melissa.
my favorite.
Melissa's super sweet.
How much are
She was
like
talking to me all day yesterday.
They're about
I used to work with
You're like, I'm braiding my hair right now.
Yes.
and Ryan
something.
Goodman.
Well, okay, so
And that chest floor, he's square coming at you. One that I think maybe gets on the outside of his skeleton just a hair at times, but when he gets him going and gets his head up, he's able to control that to the best of his ability. He's not the biggest bone one that we've seen come through the ring today by any means, but I think he's proportional in everything that he brings to the table. Certainly love that one from when he gets his head up. I think for second, the young lady right here is going to go ahead and be second. That one just has a sheer power hog look to him. When you get him off to the side and he goes at a natural speed, you like that one quite a bit.
Class winner was Ryan Stortenbecker. With second place, Jamie Vinton. Third place with a blue